What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. We've got some crazy news this episode. We've got leaks of some of the new chase cards from Prismatic Evolutions, and there's also a lot going on with price movements across Sword and Shield sealed product. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Let's get into it. Right, guys, we got some massive news to kick off with. The Pokemon Center Pokemon Company has released the special illustration rares for the Prismatic Evolution set. I did a massive video on this last week. Go check that out if you haven't seen that yet, making my predictions on what I think this set is going to be like. I really do think it has the potential to be the next Evolving Skies, or at least just behind that set. And yeah, so basically they've leaked out really like low resolution photos of what all the chase cards are going to be for this Prismatic Evolution set, and they look absolutely disgusting. This set is going to be absolutely crazy. As I said, we've only got really low res images of them at the moment. This is them. So as you can see, it's all the evolutions, and these are SIRs. So these are your chase cards, your super rare cards that are going to be in Prismatic Evolutions, and they just look brilliant. I'm expecting the Umbreon to perform really well, just because, you know, the Moonbreon and the hype behind that in Evolutions, in Evolving Skies, sorry. And the Sylveon looks really, really nice as well. Let me know what you guys think your favorite card is out of these. Like I said, it's a little bit hard to see just because it's a real low quality image. What they did is they actually made a mistake. They released don't know why it's gone to that page, sorry. They released a like poster, which is this, and on the back of the poster it has the SIRs that hadn't been unveiled yet, so that's absolutely crazy. I've got slightly more zoomed in images here for you to see. I mean, they're really small when they're in detail, but as you can see, they're like blown up a little bit more here. This is the best we've got at the moment. I'll just go through them briefly on the zoomed in one so you can see them all if my camera's in the way a little bit. Obviously we've got like the Leafeon, Flareon, Vaporeon, etc. I'm just gonna zip through real quick, but you can pause the video, have a look at them if you want. I can't zoom in anymore, unfortunately, but it looks like Prismatic Evolutions is just going to go to the moon now. It's going to be so hard now that these are out. Everyone was already hyped about this set, and now there's like, we can see the Umbreon and the other chase cards of this set. This set is going to be absolutely huge. The price is going to go bonkers. I would say even if on release you're paying like way over retail for it, be cautious if you're doing it for an investment, obviously, but I still do think it's just gonna be absolutely gobbled up by everyone. And even paying over retail on release, you'll still probably do well for it and do well with it in the long term if you hold it for a year or two and then try and sell it. I think this is going to be a really expensive set, especially where there's not going to be any booster boxes of it because it's a holiday set. So those elite trainer boxes are going to be super expensive, and then a few months later in March the set will already be hype. We'll have a good gauge on how the set's doing, and then the booster bundles come out, and I'm telling you, if the set's doing well when those booster bundles come out in March, those are all just going to disappear super quick as well. And I don't think it will crash the price that much. It will just get bought out, the price will just stabilize for a couple of weeks and then just shoot back up again. But that's going to be your opportunity in March to buy back into it if you miss out on the release that's coming in January of these elite trainer boxes. So people always ask me what I'm doing with my money and my investment. I'm definitely saving some money at the moment for this, and I probably will pay over retail for some Prismatic Evolutions. I'm not going to go too hard into it. I'm going to wait and see what happens, and then if it's doing well in March time, I might buy more of it. I'm also buying into quite a bit of modern at the moment, a little bit of surge in sparks where I can pick it up below retail, but I'm also picking up the other sets that people are forgetting about at the moment and their eyes aren't on them at the moment, like Stellar Crown. I'm buying into more Twilight Masquerade. I have quite a big position on Twilight Masquerade booster boxes, and you can really get some bargains, but these are like long haul things. These are things that I'm going to keep for a very long amount of time. So the price really doesn't matter to me. As long as I'm picking it up below or around retail, it's going to do well over the next couple of years. I'm very confident about that. However, if you want like a more consistent investment, I would definitely say, and say every week, which is why I do an analysis on it, is buy into Sword and Shield sets. You can still get some crazy bargains, and that's where we're going to track them pretty much every week. Soon we're going to have to switch and start tracking Scarlet and Violet, because Scarlet and Violet I think is going to have a really good 2025. I think the second half of Scarlet and Violet is really going to be some great sets like this. Potentially we've got a Team Rocket set coming as well. Yeah, just going from strength to strength with Scarlet and Violet. That had a bit of a lackluster first half, but again, it kind of did the same with Sun and Moon. It kind of did the same a bit with Sword and Shield. So we are expecting some decent Scarlet and Violet sets to be coming out in the first half and last half of 2025. So I'm kind of saving a bit of money for that, but I'm still buying into Sword and Shield and a little bit of Modern as well. I'm kind of split at the moment. I'm kind of 50-50. I'm not spending much money, but I'm kind of buying half old Sword and Shield on good deals and half Ultra Modern below retail. So let's have a look at what's going on with prices then in Sword and Shield. We've always got to start off with the big boy. Let's have a look at Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies is already pumping. As you can see, it's just going completely vertical on the charts over the last month or 2 months, which we did predict it happening. I do predict it will carry on, and especially with the hype of the new Eevee set, the Prismatic Evolutions coming out, I think that will do well for Evolving Skies. And I do think Evolving Skies is undervalued at the moment, even though it is really expensive at the moment. I do think it's still undervalued. I think it's crazy that you can pick it up for below £1,000 or below like $1,100, $1,200 a box. I think that's where the value should be right about now, and into 2025 even more than that. So I think the prices are just lagging behind a little bit. Let's have a look at the cheapest you can buy one in the US right now then. Cheapest you can buy is like $820, but it's got a tear in it. I would never recommend buying ones with a tear in it, just because when you come to sell it at the back end, like you see, you've really got to drop the price compared to other people. This is more than $80 less, which is 10% less than the next lowest available on US eBay. If you're new to the channel, I compare both US prices and UK prices and always point out deals and plays for you whenever I see them. I don't keep them all to myself. I do a good analysis of both markets. So if you're in either the US market or the EU markets, or even one of the other markets around the world, it's worth having a look at these analysis each week that I do, because it will give you all the news and information about the new sets. And you can also sort of see how prices are moving around in different markets. And they are comparable sometimes. Like sometimes we can learn things from each other's markets, sometimes you can't. And that's where you get a unique analysis from me here on the channel that you won't get anywhere else on YouTube. Let's have a look then at last sales in the US. Last sales, $875, $850. However, let's have a look at cheapest available. So cheapest available, $820 with a rip. Then it's at 900, and that's importing it from the UK. Then 929, 936, 911. They're kind of different prices because it's working out like international shipping on top of that. So bear in mind that really without a rip or anything, you're probably going to pay about $900 on eBay at the moment. Whereas on TCG Player you can pick them up for about $875, so about a $25 discount on TCG Player, so that's worth bearing in mind. And then if you look at last sales though, last sales $875, $850, so you can get good deals, and this $850 was yesterday on a buy it now. So Evolving Skies is at a really weird point at the moment where I think it's undervalued, and a lot of people think it's undervalued, but where it's a lot of money, there aren't a lot of buyers for it. So the price can vary quite a lot, and it just depends how desperate the person is to sell. If this person really wants to dump it, either for their own financial reasons or they just want to buy into some modern, like, I mean, you could sell that and just buy a case of modern right now. So that's definitely a play. I've definitely done plays like that over the last 6 months. So that's something to bear in mind. There are people dumping Sword and Shield products, whether they need the money or they're just taking profits now. There are deals to be had, and everyone's eyes are in other places at the moment. There's really not that many people in the grand scheme of things that is picking up sealed Sword and Shield right now, so you can get really, really good deals, and I do think these are still undervalued. And Evolving Skies is the best set. Like, we already know that. There's no argument about that, like, oh, it might not be the best set, or it might get reprinted. It's really not going to happen. It's done, it's over, it's just going to climb in value. It really is. And now is the time that you can really get some bargains on some of these sets. Cheapest you can get in the UK right now is $6.85. Again, says there, small slit in the seal, so I wouldn't take that for $6.85. I would rather pay an extra, what is that, £22 and get a minty sealed one. So something to bear in mind. I personally wouldn't buy it cheap. If you're cracking it open though, go for it. You know, get one for a little bit cheaper. But me personally, I'd always pay that little bit extra because I'm going to keep it sealed. So we're basically at an agreed price in the UK here for around $700 a box. I think that's so undervalued right now. I think, especially when you're seeing the ones in the US go for like $800+. Like, it was the case that it was the other way around a few months ago. We had pulled ahead in price. In the UK, we were around about £800 a box, and the US were below. And now the dollar is the dollar amount for a box is really starting to shoot up, and the pound is, you know, I think this is a pretty good deal. You know, if you can get this for around about $700 a box, look at this, $713 on a bite now. I'm telling you, that's a pretty good deal, and I think by the end of 2025, that's going to look pretty cheap, and you're going to kick yourself for not picking up more of that. I definitely think we're going to go over $1,000 a box in 2025, maybe even more, and especially when that Prismatic Evolutions set comes out, I think even more eyes are going to go on Evolving Skies, and it's going to get even more hype if that's even possible. So let's have a look at last sales in the UK then. Last sales, $718. So there you go. There's one selling for $718. So if you can pick one up for, $700, that's a little bit of a discount. That one did come with a case with it though. So there is a little bit of a monetary value to a case. Here's one selling for $680, $693 including postage, and that was from an auction as well, where you get a little bit more of a gauge of the proper price because you're having people bidding against each other, and that sold 2 days ago as well. So $700 for Evolving Skies, I think that's a pretty good deal, especially when the chart's just doing this at the moment, and we're having the hype of a new EV set coming out in January. That hype's just going to build all the way through Christmas to January, and then from January to March as well, it's going to be out. The ETBs are going to get hard to get as well because everyone's just going to be buying them up. People will be FOMOing into it because they don't want to lose out on an Evolving Skies set again. So yeah, just keep your eye on Evolving Skies. It's got a lot more room to grow, I think. We started talking about the Elite Trainer boxes a lot more as well each week. I've been saying to you guys that these are still fantastic value, even at $170 for a box. I think that these are highly undervalued. They could easily be over $200 soon, and I'll give you a quick explanation of why. So let's go to last sale on the booster box here. So last sale is $719. Divide that by 36 packs that you get in there. That's a pack to cost ratio of around about £20. Yeah, 3 pence off of £20. So let's say 20 a pack on a pack to cost ratio of a booster box. Let's have a look at the Elite Trainer box now then. So 165 is their cheapest there. You get 8 packs in it. Look, it's bang on the price, pack to cost ratio of an Elite Trainer box, of a booster box. but you don't have to put in as much money. And I'm telling you, as people start to get priced out of these more, and the price starts to keep going up and up and up, that's going to push the price of these as well, because people will realise that the cheapest pack to cost ratio is these, and people will buy them to open them. So that's something to bear in mind. If these go to 1,000 a box in 2025, which I do think they could, that will make a pack to cost ratio of 2770, which I could easily see happening. Now 27, let's just say 27 times 8 packs in an Elite Trainer box, that would push the Elite Trainer box to 216. I've already said I could really see these at 200 a box pretty soon anyway, so I mean 216 is not a big stretch from that. I do think that the Evolving Skies Elite Trainer boxes are also undervalued at the moment, and they're a pretty good play. Let's have a look at Fusion Strike then. I'm going to focus on some of the main sets, not just of Sword and Shield, but I'm going to focus on sets that I think are going to grow really well over the next 6 months in particular, and let's take a really good focus on these. So Fusion Strike is nearly at an all-time high again after having this bit of a price correction around here at sort of the start of autumn time. So we're up to 231 a box average value. If we just zoom out on the charts, the all-time high was around about 244. But if we actually look at last sales 225, 240. So this last sale actually from yesterday for 240 is only $4 away from its all-time high in the US. I do think that Fusion Strike is at the cheapest it's ever going to be. I don't think it's ever going to get cheaper than this, unless they do a surprise reprint, but I really don't think so. I think we're well out of that reprint window now. It's still so cheap in the UK right now as well. I think it's one of the best things you can buy into at the UK. So you have it for sealed booster boxes for $150, which is absolutely nuts. In dollars, I don't know what that is off the top of my head, probably like $160, $170. So if these were suddenly available in the US for $170, they would all get bought out instantly. I'm quite confident on that. The reason why they are £150 right now is because you can still buy them for retail from the Pokemon Center official distributor, and you can buy them for 146 or 143, I think it is. So that's why the eBay ones are a tiny bit more, but sometimes buying from eBay is better because you have the ability to actually check out the box beforehand and make sure there's no rips or tears to the seal, which there's a lot to be said for that. So maybe you want to pay an extra £6-7 just for that privilege. Some people do. That's just something to be aware of. I never really look at Fusion Strike Elite Trainer boxes, but I was looking at buying one for myself the other day, and I noticed that the prices really started to shoot up on these as well. These are overvalued at the moment. I think in the grand scheme of things, once Fusion Strike goes out of stock on the booster box, these will be about the right price they should be. But the pack to cost ratio on them is way off at the moment, and it's just because I don't think there's many of them available at the moment. There's not a huge amount of people selling them. It's certainly not for a decent price. So the pack to cost ratio on them is pretty crazy on the Elite Trainer box. It's $8.75 a pack on the Elite Trainer box, whereas on the booster box it's let's see, 150 divided by 36. It's only like £4, which is more what I would have thought it should be. So Elite Trainer boxes, a little bit overvalued at the moment on the UK market, but the reason why I'm showing you this is because they're creeping up in price, and anytime I see anything creeping up in price, I'm going to let you guys know. Also, the Pokemon Center exclusive ones look pretty cheap in comparison to them. I never really recommend buying into the Pokemon Center exclusive ones because they are more of a risk, because it's sort of the same pack to cost ratio, but you're paying more for the Elite Trainer box. You're just paying for exclusivity, which does hold a value, as you can see in the increased costs, and collectors will desire them further down the line and pay that premium. However, you'll just have less buyers. You are more likely to be able to quickly sell a normal Elite Trainer box in 2-3 years time than a Pokemon Center one for the price you want. You can always sell Pokemon product. This is something to be very clear about. If you have an eBay account and you're pretty much anywhere in the world, you can always sell your sealed product. It is a lot more liquid than people think it is. You can get out of positions really, really quickly. The problem is you're not always going to get the price you want. If you drop it to 5 to 10% below everyone else, it'll sell instantly, because people like me and some of you viewers at home will see a bargain and will just snap it up. And like me, I'm constantly looking at stuff and looking for bargains. I didn't really plan to buy a Fusion Strike Elite Trainer box. I was just thinking, I don't have one, maybe I'll have a look at the price. And there's a lot of people that do that and look back at these older sets and look for bargains. So yeah, it's looking pretty expensive right now. So like £74-75, whereas the Pokemon Center one is like under 90. I don't know, there's just not much of a gap between them. I just thought it was really interesting and I never really bring it up, so I thought I'd point that out to you guys. And you can see on last solds as well. So the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box here selling for 90, and then we're seeing normal ones selling not that frequently actually. Last sale, best offer accepted 70, and then that was about a week ago, and then over a week ago there's another one going for just under 70, and then look, Pokemon Center one here going for 80, like another one here going for less than 80. Keep an eye on it, guys. It's a little bit overvalued, the Elite Trainer box. The booster box is really undervalued in the UK, but I do still think there's value in buying the booster box from the US markets as well, if you're in the US, because I think we're right at the stage now where it's the cheapest it's ever going to be. And I really do think that a lot of these Sword and Shield sets, especially Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, all these bigger sets, are going to have a really, really good 2025. And less people are looking at these as bargains to be had, because everyone's looking at Prismatic Evolutions, everyone's looking at Surgeon Sparks, everyone's looking at Ultra Modern. And so am I. I'm also buying a little bit into these sets, but not everyone's looking at Sword and Shield. And some people are dumping, and there's deals to be had. And I will always track them here for you on this channel, so you can keep up to date. And I'll give you my honest opinion on what I think are plays and what aren't. I find that's part of the problem with some of the other channels, and I won't name anyone in particular, but I find that they're very good at giving out advice on what sets to buy, but they never really actually break down the figures week on week and show you what's climbing, what's not. They'll just take averages. And that's not always the best way, because sometimes you can snipe deals and stuff like that. And if I see weird stuff like that going on in the market, I'll always let you know. So let's have a look at 151 then. So 151 is something again that I've brought up over the last couple of weeks, because we have had confirmed that we're getting some new 151 products coming out in January. That is going to affect the price of 151, but I don't think it's going to affect it massively. The booster bundles at the moment are at an interesting price point. So the cheapest you can buy them at the moment is 41.11, which I actually think is quite undervalued, even though I think there's going to be a bit of a reprint. 6 booster packs for 41 on 151 I think is actually pretty good. They're quite easy to store as well, because they're quite small, they're quite easy to ship. 680 cost to pack ratio on that. I don't think that's bad, and I think even though we might see a bit of a dip in January, I still think this is a really good deal. So £40 to buy into some 151 booster bundles at the moment, and you can see they're selling for that as well. You know, selling for a little bit over. This is like 45, 42.40, and something that I really wanted to point out to you. So, say for example, you pick up this one for 42. I could easily see the price go to 50, easily. Like in not much time either, even probably before January and we get the reprints. I don't even know if booster bundles are getting reprinted, by the way. That's something to bear in mind too. We might just get other products. So 42, well no, it's 41 basically. If that goes up to 50, you think, oh okay, that's only £9. But because the cost is so low, £9 is actually massive. So £9 is, as a percentage, a 21% increase for it to raise up in price less than £10. Like, I think people need to start paying attention to some of these more obscure plays. Like, it's not always about the big booster boxes, getting into the modern for below retail. Like, yes, those are plays, but I mean, the numbers say it for themselves. Like, I really do think that you would do well if you picked up some booster bundles for that price, and I might buy some more of them. And not many people are buying them as well, so you might even get deals. If you can pick one up for like 40 or below 40 on an auction or something like that, or maybe bundle them together, you know, maybe you want to go in hard and buy a display case of 10 of them for 400, or you might even get it cheaper if you can get that under 400, so they work out. I think I saw one sold the other day for 380 actually, which works out £38 a booster bundle. I think that's pretty cheap and a pretty good deal, to be honest. The Elite Trainer boxes are still holding some pretty significant value as well. So you can see that cheapest here in the UK is 85, which gives you a pack to cost ratio. How many's in there actually? There's 9 in Scarlet and Violet sets, isn't there? So that's pack to cost ratio of 9.44. So the booster bundle is still looking pretty cheap. Like, it's definitely still a better pack to cost ratio than the Elite Trainer boxes. Something that we're keeping an eye on the channel. And the prices on solds are like all over the place as well. Look, here's a normal one selling for 110. Like, what happened there? And then Pokemon exclusive one selling for 150. That shot up in price. And then a normal one again selling for 100. And then back to 80. Like, prices are just all over the place with 151 at the moment. So I think that the booster bundles are actually a pretty good play. If you can get one from a reputable seller and it's nice and sealed with a good seal, I think you're doing all right for yourself. Lost Origin. Lost Origin, as you can see on the 1 month chart as well, is just, again, just going completely vertical. Let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. 3 month chart, it always gives us a good view of what's going on. Again, I don't think it's ever going to get any cheaper. Lost Origin is just going strength to strength to strength, and I think it's going to have a really good 2025. Even if we just level off here until the end of the year and we don't really see any growth, maybe a 1%, 2% growth until the end of the year, I still think this is a great price to buy in at, even at the current price. So last sales are $233, but then look, so that's a deal, because look, the 2 days beforehand, no, the same day. So today, someone picked one up for $233, and then earlier in the day, it was $260. So they got $30 off nearly, which is $30 is like 15% off. That's what I mean. There's deals to be had on these, and Lost Origin is a really good set. Cheapest on the UK markets right now is $214. I definitely remember pointing out a few weeks ago on the channel you could pick some of these up for sub 200. So that's already showing a decent profit of around about 10%. So yeah, decent play on Lost Origin. I still think it's undervalued. And look, last sale yesterday, someone picked one up below 200. Cheapest you can buy them now is $214, and eBay's even highlighting it as a great price at $214. No, this is a great price. Whoever picked one up sub 200. I think that the agreed price a few weeks ago was around about 200. I said to you guys, if you can get it sub 200, you're doing well for yourself. This looks like quite a minty one as well, before I go into more detail of the photos. So if you can pick one up to sub 200, I think you're doing well. I think even in the US markets, if you can pick one up for around about the 230 range, you're still doing well. I think it's just going to grow over 2025 and do really well. The last set I really want to have a look at today is Astral Radiance. So many people sleep on Astral Radiance, and both in the UK and US markets, it is so cheap right now. Let's have a look at the chart, 3 month chart. Look, it's just going up and up and up. We're right at the start where the Pokemon market's just going to explode. I really do think 2025 is going to be one of those years again where, especially with like Ultra Modern, you're just going to buy it and it's just going to sell out. And until people start making losses on those products, it's just going to continue, and people are going to FOMO, and it's going to get more and more and more and more. And I love it when the market goes into that cycle. The Pokemon market always goes into these cycles, and I'm telling you, we're just about to start another one. The next 2 years, I think, are going to be huge for Pokemon Sealed, especially for the later half of Scarlet and Violet, and all of these old Sword and Shield boxes I think are going to do really well and really start appreciating in price over the next 24 months. Now is the time to buy. These are the cheapest that they're ever going to be, I think. Yeah, you could have bought in round here, you could have bought in a year ago for down here, and you might think, oh, I've missed out. You haven't missed out, I'm telling you. These are just going to keep climbing. 178 is not that much over retail. That's not that much over the dollar amount it cost when it first came out. It's what, maybe 20%, 10 to 20% more than it was at retail when it came out. Do think it's just going to keep growing. Last sales on TCG Player, $188, and look at that. So that was yesterday. On the same day, 170. So there's that variance in price. This is what I'm talking about. Everyone's eyes are on Ultra Modern at the moment. You can pick up deals. Just start sniping auctions. Know your price points as well. This is why you should tune into the channel each week. And you can see the prices change, so that then you can identify a deal when you see it. When you see it pop up, you know it's cheap because you pay attention to the prices. Something in the UK I just wanted to point out quickly as well. These half booster bundles that are an EU exclusive, this is a crazy price. I was in two minds about showing you guys this because it's just one for sale. I'm not going to buy it myself. I was going to buy it myself and not show you guys, but I've decided not to buy it. I'm going to buy something else instead that I've seen. Astral Radiance, half a booster pack for £60, free postage. It's an absolute no-brainer. It's well below retail on a pack to cost ratio. So 16, you get 18 packs in it because it's a half booster box. Works out at $3.33 a pack. Like, come on, guys, for a set that's out of print. Absolutely nuts. And you can still pick up the booster boxes for below retail in the UK as well. You can buy them for retail from the Pokemon Center, or you can buy them off of these unfortunate people who are dumping cases of it, probably for a loss, because they probably paid more for that. I would imagine that's probably a break-even price for them. Maybe they've made £5 on it and they've sat on it for 2 years. This is what the price should be. That's retail, around about the 135-ish mark, 140 mark. So if you can pick it up cheaper than that, this is mega cheap right now. You're never going to get Astral Radiance for cheaper than this. Decent play. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. I will, as always, keep you up to date with all of the news, all of the new sets. If we see even more of Prismatic Evolutions, I'll keep you up to date with all of that as well. I'll let you know all of the release dates, everything, and show you all these crazy plays that are going on in both the US and UK markets. So make sure you subscribe down below. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and peace.